Good morning, Flosstube. I'm Lynette from Brisbane in Australia, and it's Wednesday, June the 1st already. The last 2 weeks have been very scattered for me, but I have achieved some things, so I'll show you what I have achieved. So the first thing is a fully finished object, which I finished yesterday, and it was the Summer Home Stitch Along by Fat Quarter Shop, and this is what I ended up with. So this was a really fun quick stitch, and I just decided to make it into a little project bag, and I happen to love toadstool houses, and I had this bit of fabric and I thought, well, they're fairy homes, maybe this is my home. So this was a 16 count fabric flare that I got here in a company called Sew It All Australia, and I just had some fun with that one. So that's the finished object. I haven't got a photo of it yet from my book, but if you remember last time I cut the pages off, this is my second book, so I'll be able to cut this page off and I'll have one page corner cut off for a finished object in my volume 2. Let's see what we can do this week. So I've roughly framed my cross stitch around the Magazine Monthly Challenge, but when I looked through it last night, I touched on most things, but I didn't get a lot done, so I'll show you what I've got done so far. So the first thing I'll show you is Ink Circles I Still Do, which was supposed to be my mania piece, and it's sort of slowed to a bit of a halt, and I had talked about doing this one, and I have made a start on it. Only a little start. Sorry, I've got things out of order here. So here is this, and you can see it's just a small start on that big motif there. I might get back to that, do a bit more on it this week, we'll see, just see how things go. One thing that's slowing me down a bit is I managed to get a splinter down the cuticle of my middle finger on my right hand. I have no idea how I did it. I didn't even notice I'd done it until it was a bit sore. So I had to go to the doctor yesterday and had to use the scalpel to get it out, which was the most painful part of the process. So hopefully that will heal really quickly, because, you know, big bandage on your middle finger of your dominant hand is not fun. So the next thing I worked on was some of Mary Ann Kittle's sampler. This is going to be so much fun, and you can't see on here, but in here there are two big birds, and the colours are so vibrant. And this is obviously the original sampler that she has, but there's so many motifs coming up. My goal was to stitch on this vine that was under, it was U for under, but so I finished this line, and I've started a little bit here, and then I've started to work my way down a bit here. But there's all these motifs in boxes here. There's a lot of fun going on with this one. So here's where I've got to with it. So I've got right across, and I've started that next band. Well, not as much as I thought, but yeah, I've done a little bit. So this will be fun to continue working on. I will keep this going. Another stitch along I was in is Gnomeville, and part 3 came out. Well, I finished a bit more of part 2. So I've worked my way with this scallopy thing here, and then down under here there's a lovely big toadstool house with a lovely red top. Just my thing, I just love toadstools. What I'm going to try and do is find for you a money box I was given when I was really little by a good friend of ours, who, I don't know why he gave it to me, but it's a toadstool house money box. And I think that's what started my love of this. And I must admit, I also loved Noddy and anything Enid Blyton when I was a kid. So hopefully next time, and I did find my red last week. I said I still don't, well, I didn't find the red, but I found another 321 somewhere else, so I can start on this one down here. But I'm really enjoying this, and you get a month per part, so it's very achievable, she says, having not finished part 1. And then there's our lovely fox that so many people are working on. I heard Carolyn's restarting hers. I've made a little bit of progress, and I actually really enjoyed it, so I don't know why I didn't go back to it. So I've just worked down his face a bit more in here. There's just too many wonderful things to stitch. So that brings me to plans, I guess. So June's magazine monthly challenge is, the theme is flowers, and the acrostic is florals, so F-L-O-R-A-L. So what I'm thinking is for flowers, I'll go back and work on the flowers on Marianne Kittle for the theme. And then floral is running around all over the place in my mind, so I keep writing things down and then crossing them out and changing them. Tiny House Stitcher, who you can find on Flosstube, she's got a stitch along, which I can't remember the name of now, a summer stocking stitch along, I think it is, summer stocking SAL, I think that's what it is. And so I thought, well, I might join this, and even though I should be working on that other stocking, I thought I might work on Noah. And sorry, I forgot to get the picture of the finished one. It's Noah by Carriage House Samplings, and this is how much I've got done. And so I think I'm going to use this for some of my florals. For the L, there's butterflies that come in around here somewhere, so that's Lepidoptera, so that'll be my L. The O in floral will be, oh my goodness, Noah is huge, because he's huge, he goes way down. So I've got those two sorted. Not sure what else, but anyway, that's a thought. And I probably really should finalise my plans, considering today is already June the 1st. This one I won in one of Caroline from Magazine Monthly Challenge, Seasook Stitch's giveaways. And there were a few issues with a pattern she sent me. It was only part of it, and she felt so bad, which she didn't need to feel bad at all, because she does all this for free. But she sent this to me and kitted it up. And I think I'm going to put this in here somewhere. And the motivation for working on this is that this fabric here, this is what I've got done, big N and a couple of snowflakes, this is 28 count lamb's wool. Linen, and there's a big piece of it. So it's, and I really want to do one of, I've gone blank now, Stacey Nash's animal cracker things, I think they're called, and I've got the pattern, and I thought, well, if I finish this, I can use the other half of this linen to do the animal cracker I own. So somewhere I'm going to fit North Pole News into floral. Maybe it could be F, because Carolyn gave it to me for free, maybe. I'll think about that. And honestly, that shouldn't take a lot. There's not a lot. It's a really cute thing. And she gave me all the threads as well. So I'm really looking forward to using some of those. So thank you, Carolyn. She's probably even forgotten it was so long ago. I've lost a stitch minder off something. She's a cute little mermaid. I have to go back and find out which one that came to. So I did acquire a couple of things this week after saying I'm not going to acquire too much. I was watching The Addicts last Flosstube, and she talked about this sampler. And the name on this is Elsie. And she talked about having a granddaughter whose name is Elsie. Well, did that not send me down a little rabbit hole? Because I have a granddaughter called Elsie too. And so then I thought, well, I might make each of my granddaughters a sampler. So I haven't started that yet, but then I went looking for Lucia, which is one of my other granddaughters, and I came across this one, which is from Whilst Iris Snaps, and her name down here is Lucy Wilson. So I thought, well, I might do that. So I downloaded it, bought it and downloaded it, and I started it. So here's my new start. Now I zoomed along. It's 6 pages. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages. So I zoomed along and I'm just about finished page 1. And then I got into page 2 and I knew Lucy was, that name was stitched 1/1, but I did not realise, come back to this, is that once you hit under the crown, all this is 1/1. So even though I zoomed along with this bit, of course now there's 4 times as many X's in that bottom bit, because you need 4 X's to make up the space of 1 X in 1/1. Not having any issues with the 1/1, and I'm quite enjoying it, but it just went, oh, this is not going to be finished as soon as I think. And her birthday is in 3 weeks. So I've decided I don't need too many deadlines at the moment, so I might see if I can stitch 3 of these samplers, this one for Lucy, the Elsie one, and another one for the youngest, and maybe make them Christmas presents. Now, I know my daughter-in-law loves vintage stuff, so that'll be fine, but my other daughter, she's got 2 girls as well, and I'll have to think of something different for them because I don't think that's quite their style. That's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. I just have to think of something else, but that might be for the following year. So last time I showed you I was working on one of my own designs, and it's made progress, but I was hoping to have them finished. But so they're a set of 3, there'll be little cushions. So this one says hope. This one says peace, and this one says joy. They're all on one big long thing at the moment. But I will turn them into little cushions, and these are little 1/2-inch hexies that I've still got to trying to work out whether I'm just going to finish them on here and make that into a cushion, or whether I'm actually going to apply this to a different colour fabric. And then I've got to write the pattern up, which is where I often come unstuck, because it just takes time. It's not that hard, it just takes time. And I've had a very discombobulated couple of weeks. That's my favourite word lately, being discombobulated. So that's a bit of progress on those, because I know Carolyn made a comment. Well, there's the back of that needle minder. So I think I mentioned last time we have a lovely quilt shop that's opened up near us, which has got me back into my Hexagon Quilting. So I had a whole stack of these that have been fussy cut out of different striped fabrics so that they swirl and do different things. And so I've been starting to put them together with this green grunge background. So that's just fun to do something easy and put that together. The other thing I have done is I've started a new shawl for knitting. And this shawl is called Gimli Beach Shawl. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, so if you look up Gimli Beach Shawl you'll find it. And she says here that this shawl was created to teach newer knitters some creative stitches. Well, it's quite well written, but I feel like it's probably more for an adventurous beginner rather than just a raw beginner. And there's actually stitches in here. I've been knitting for years. There's actually stitches in here I've never done before. And I like a bit of variety, so I'll show you where I've got to with that. And this is in yarn that I've had left over from other things, so mine's not blues, it's purples. And this crown stitch up here was very interesting to do. I didn't read the instructions correctly the first time and thought, this is not making sense, it's not looking like the picture. So I went back and reread it. Yeah, so definitely no knitting at the moment, but I'm hoping I might be able to do a bit of cross stitching later. So that's everything I've been working on this week. I've been reading a book that I came across through a podcast. I've actually been listening to it. I just thought I'd mention it. It's called I Didn't Do the Thing Today. I don't know that I can, yeah. And it's actually written by Madeline Dorr, who's actually from Melbourne here in Australia, and she actually narrates the audiobook, which is lovely for me to hear an Australian narrate her own book. And it's about not berating ourselves for things we don't achieve, and allowing ourselves time to enjoy the day and enjoy the process. And just the bit I was listening to this morning, she was talking about not just focusing on one thing till it's finished, because, and I know you're all laughing at that, but because sometimes we need that space to step away from it. And in stepping away from it, we can pick up something else to do. And isn't that why we have so many whips? Is so that when we get sick of one thing, we don't just stop doing it and not do anything. We can pick up something else and work on it. And just when she mentioned that this morning, I'm thinking, yeah, that's us cross stitchers. We need more than one project, because, yeah, you can get a bit burnt out on one, and if you've only got the one, then you won't do anything. Well, we can pick up something else. And obviously, I can pick up several different things from several different crafts, because they're my main things that I love to do, is cross stitch, quilting, and knitting. So I hope you all have a good week, and I look forward to making another one of these hopefully next week. We'll see what this week brings, but I'm going to make June a much more loose month in the hope of just not putting so many deadlines on myself, because they tend to make me not work on things actually. So we'll see how we go. Catch you in another week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.